Hi, welcome to this post-grade guidance webinar, and I'm Santosh. Uh, I will take you through this information particularly for admission process in the IITs and NITs and some of the reputed colleges in India. Okay, so you could ask me questions at the end of the session. I want to keep it a brief, a very simple here. Talk about the institutes available for you to admission and their processes, the kind of courses they run, and for what score you could possibly get admit in these colleges. So I must begin with congratulating all the people those who have scored, qualified the gate with flying colors first of all, and I wish you good luck to get admissions in your desired institutes. First of all, I know everybody desired to get into IITs. Hope you have got good score to get into IITs, and then I could help you here if you have any questions at the end of the session. Well, I must begin with the following. There are institutes which all of us know, but at the same time, there is some information which probably have to be gathered from various sources. So the first thing what I must tell you is that the number of institutes what we have, and the categories which I will talk about. So I'm not going to give the actual number here, but what I'm going to give you is the category of the institutions. So one category is clearly the IITs, and that too I'm talking about the A category, which means the old IITs, not the new ones which have been recently started. Then we have some good, which are good being the second class IIT, which are B grade IITs. Then we have some NITs, and then we have some private or public-private colleges, which are also good and provide you better options as far as the postgraduate courses are concerned. Alright, so if I look at IITs, we have, let me tell you, it's IIT B, IIT D, IIT M, then you have the IIT K, Kanpur, IIT KGP, IIT Roorkee, and IIT Guwahati. Okay. Then we have some institutions which are like IIT Hyderabad, IIT Rajasthan, IIT Patna, IIT Gandhinagar, and all other IITs which probably I might have forgotten. So bear that in mind that you have some more list of IITs. And there are top-notch NITs, say Trichy, NIT Warangal, then NIT Suratkal, Surat, Nagpur, and etc. These are some of the best places to go. Public and private, if I have to look at it, let me talk about the public first. We have the few public which are like in places like Mumbai, you have, let me tell you, BJTI, Pune, COEP College Pune. If I go to Delhi, you have the Delhi College of Engineering. These are some of the public places. If I come to Chennai, it's Anna University. If I go to Calcutta, then I have a place like Jadavpur University. Then if I go to Punjab, that's Chandigarh, we have the Thapar University, which is also good. And if I look at the private places, which are kind of act as a semi-government, we have places like VIT in Vellore, which is very close to Chennai or from Bangalore. Then we have places like, if I have to mention, well, I also forgot one more point, but I'll come at the end of that. So we have the VIT Vellore, then there is Shiv Nadar University in Gurgaon, then you have the Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information Technology, that's Ahmedabad. It's a fantastic place, I must tell you. This is a very, very good place to go. Has a fantastic infrastructure. Once again, I must tell you. All these places in particular. Then there are a few more like BITS, Pilani, Goa has their own reputations, no doubt about that. And there are few which I must talk about, the public ones, which are all triple ITs. In particular, Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad. These are the best places. Actually, you can go ahead and take up your studies. And what do I mean by best places is basically, I must tell you that there are three criteria one must actually adopt when choosing the institution. One is how strategically the place is located, what placement does college offers, and how different courses the colleges offer. Courses in the sense that MTech in what areas. There could be special areas like algorithms, special areas like security, there are special areas like networks, special areas like databases and such. So we'll talk about this. And the most recent one is the machine learning and the data analytics field. These are like very specialized courses these kind of institution offer. So you must choose the institution based on these things. One is that the placement offer different courses. Then this how strategically these places are located. And location does matter indeed for one reason, that the companies tend to go to good places which are accessible from places like Bangalore, for example. IIT, which is very close by, but I might not actually go ahead and go to something like Goa place, which is sort of a remote for me, unless I find a need to do that. Okay, so these are the places where you can aim to get your admissions. And now I'll brief about the kind of courses these institutions actually run. So just bear in mind that these are the institutions you have, and each one of them have a different criteria to go through to get you the admission. Okay, so let me just talk about the kind of courses these institutions run. So all these places you get following courses. One is the MTech, CSE. There are specialized courses in CSE here, so one can look at the algorithms itself, the networks itself, some specialized courses, somewhere some security or some system science, which means theoretical computer science. So various aspects of it, but they're all combined together. There will not be a separate one as such, but you have a number of students which, if depending on the department which can accommodate the different kind of faculties, these are the things which will be accommodated, and the various number of the internal branches will essentially help the number of students, those who can be accommodated or given the admissions in these institutions. So the wider the range of the faculties, the better the number of students those can be admitted. So MTech CSE, which again depends on this. Then you have a specialized course called, some places it's called as MS by Research. Some places it's called as MTech 3 years, like IIT Bombay in particular. MS by Research is in particular IIT Madras is a very popular. IIST is a very, very highly regarded place. Then you can go to IIT Delhi, where you have the MS by Research as a very popular course again. Okay, so these are some places. Then you have the other one, which is PhD, which is a direct admission in all of these places. If not all of these, but certainly for all IITs, then triple ITs, and some of the NITs do offer direct PhD admissions where your cutoffs are basically smaller number compared to what the direct MTech admissions are concerned. Okay, so remember, MS by Research of MTech in 3 years essentially offers variable number of admissions. This is not fixed, because this is the kind of course which actually offers you to continue your work in terms of a research, not in terms of the coursework as such. So MTech is predominantly based on the number of courses you take, but the MS or 3 years MTech is much more to do with the research, not with the number of courses. But of course, you learn many things, but not as much as the MTech students learn. But the significant component is your research, which is what actually matters, and does have the very high demand in terms of the research in per se. Okay. So PhD direct, that is something which essentially is highly sought these days. A lot of people look at PhD as the direct way of getting it. One advantage is that you don't run for something like 8 years or 3 years or 2 years of MTech, 5 years of this, but you could actually finish your PhD in MS and MTech or MTech plus PhD in 5 plus minus, you can say 5 at least, plus I must say, not minus, 1 year, depending on the way you actually work harder, or that is something which is your choice. It depends on individual to individual, not in there's one standard formula for this. But you minimum spend at least 5 years doing your PhD direct. Okay. So these are the courses what all of these universities offer. Now let me talk about in general, the cutoffs these places have. And I know you have the questions basically based on the number of marks you have got, the score you have received. So based on that, you could apply to these places. And then we can look at the questions. So all IITs, I'm not, again, A category. All IITs, B category. Then triple ITs, NITs, and private colleges. Private or public better institutions, what I have mentioned. So, I'll talk about first is here is say we have in particular general category, OBC category, SC category and ST category. Okay. So this is something what we must look at it, because we have this. If all of the general students, if you are around 800 plus, which means in all top-notch institutions, you can aim to get into all IITs, particularly CSM Techs. So I'm talking about the CS MTech admissions. I'm not talking about the PhD admissions or the MS admissions here. If you are looking at this closes around 700 plus. There are triple ITs, again 700 plus. This is rough estimate. This may vary every year. This is not something which one can decide. It is based on the number of students, those who apply at these places. These numbers may be varying. Okay, so bear that in mind. But what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are around these numbers, don't hesitate to apply to these places. That you must remember. Okay. NITs around, you get 650s. So there are many NITs which are there. 650. Then you can choose this as around 600 plus. This just simply goes down as in the following manner. This is for general categories. If you are OBC, this comes around 700 to 750. It varies. Then this is again 600 around in both these places. This is around, again, you can come around 500 to 550. And private public places, again 500 to 550. Again, there's a demographic reason why I wouldn't want to go to IIT, public place which is farther from me, unless it gives me some incentive. So something like Dhirubhai Ambani College of Engineering. If I'm coming from Chennai, I could directly go to. I wish I could actually stay in Anna University rather than going to Ahmedabad. So that's a demographic reason why I'm choosing these numbers to be very, very something similar. SC, ST, you could aim something like if you are around 600 plus in best IITs. Then this could come around, this is around 600 plus for top IITs. This is around, if you look at this could be 550 and this could be 400, this could be 350 to 400. And ST, if you are around 450 to 500, you are assured to get an admission if you have the score around that. Then you have these ones which are 400 to 500 range. I'm just keeping it that number. And this is around 350. you will possibly get these. And some private places you could even 250 to 350 range, you would have the chance at getting admissions in one of these places. So I hope I have just given you the brief about what exactly you require to have in terms of the numbers per se. Not if not in terms of the exact number, because that's something which is variable. So last year's benchmarks are in this range. So keeping these numbers in the mind, you could possibly think about applying to these places. So with that, I must stop and take the questions rather than me speaking about some information which is already available in the public domain. And we will keep all this information available on our website as well, where you could download this and possibly look at the options available, which places you can apply. And if you think anything which is missing on this particular information, you could write to us. There will be an email address, and we will be happy to answer your queries then. So, but now I must stop here and start looking at your questions rather than just me speaking for a longer time. So, alright, so there are, of course, there's one more category which I must add here, which is irrespective of anything, which is the physically disabled candidates. Of course, that is also one of the candidates. See, physically disabled candidates, all these places, if that might actually range around, if you're looking at this places is 700 to 800 score. This is again 500 to 600, 650. You can look at. This is again 400 to 500, and this is again around 350 to 400. If your scores are around this, then you could think about it. So I have for kind of questions which I should start answering. The first question which I have is a physically disabled candidate who's got a score of around 272 and marks are 18.57, and is there a chance me to get into any NIITs or NITs? I'm hoping that this is pertaining to NITs, not with NIIT. NIIT is a different thing than NIT. So I think a 272 score, you could try some of the NITs. To be very specific, you could try something like place like Jaipur, Jamshedpur, Rourkela. These are the places which could be possibly for you. You can just take chances here in NITs. Okay. So second question is about the PSUs. Oh well, that's the option which is in terms of, I have just discussed this as in terms of the admissions, not in terms of the PSU jobs. But that's something which is the second option what everybody can exercise. So if you have noted down this, I could actually talk about that as well, and then we can, in general, address the question in terms of the PSUs as well. And okay, there are three types of PSUs. One is the Navaratna, and there is one more. That's the third category. Okay, so if you are aiming at Maharatna, for example, ONGC, NTPC, and these are like BEL, BHA kind of thing. Okay, and the rest, whatever. I can't tell you about the exact scores, but I know the number of marks. If you have, then you could you have a better chance to get into. If you are around 55 plus, this is number of marks I'm talking about. The number of marks you have got in your exam. Okay, not the score, which is opposed to the previous one which I discussed. So if you are around 55 plus, you have a very, very good chance in Maharatnas. I am 100% sure that one of these Maharatnas would definitely, you should try. If you are interested in getting into any one of these places, far better options if you are around 55. and this is around 50 to 55. You stand a chance to actually get a call and then make it through this. And others ranging from 40 to again 55, I must tell you. There's no limitation, but the cutoff is 40. If you are around 40, then expect you have a good chance in terms of the getting a call for admission, for getting a call for the interview process. This is about the general students. Okay, and there are OBCs and there are SC/STs. Again, these numbers don't really vary much, if I have to say. So around for OBC, this number comes down around 48. Not significant difference though. This comes numbers around 44, and this number comes around again 37 to 39. It depends. If you are an SC student, then you can expect this to come around around 40 to 45. This is to just get a call for yourself. Then this is again 40, and this is around 35. In fact, you can choose 32 to 35. ST, those who are around 35 also may get a chance. 30 and even around, I must say, around 20 to 25, you still have a better chances to get a call for the recruitment process, not for the job. Okay, that you must note. So the question which was asked to me is that rank is 850. So I request this particular student to basically convert your rank into marks by the formula given by the GATE authorities, and see if your number of marks, or your scorecard would have actually the number of marks you have got. So based on that, you can actually make a decision where you can apply. Okay, and based on your category again, you can make a choice and then see how and where you stand. Okay. I have a next question which is coming from the score of 686, which IIT should I apply to get through in a written test and interviews. So old IITs, if you are a general category students, I suspect that you have any chances in old IIT, which means the category A IITs. But certainly you should try IIT Hyderabad. 686 is a very good score, and IIT Hyderabad has been doing fantastic as far as the new institution setup. Okay, so 686 is a highly good score as far as the IIT Hyderabad, IIT Gandhinagar, then IIT BHU, and you can also try IIT Mandi, which is a very good place. Then you have another question which says that the score of 496. I also request to the all candidates, those who just putting score, if you could also help yourself with the category you belong to, then questions related to the PSU jobs could be addressed in a much better manner, rather than just looking at only score. Because I cannot make certain assumptions based on your only score. Therefore, I have just put up the numbers with respect to categories you belong to. So certainly, I request a candidate who has put up the question like 496 score and which PSE he has the chance to get a call. So I ask this candidate to look at his. If you are an open category student, then you should think about something like the third range PSUs. I've written Maha, Navratna, and the third ones are the other grade PSUs. So, So if somebody wants more information about the PSUs, see, look, the PSUs are what they do is they basically take the GATE score as the fundamental score line on which they can call the students for an interview process. And this interview process is purely oral examination. You don't have any written examination in any of these places. You will have a proper interview, which will be probably more than 1.5 hour or 2 hours sometimes, or maybe one interview or maybe two interviews. That depends on the again the PSUs which you are actually applying to. Places like ONGC, NTPC, or HPCL, BPCL, IOCL, and all these places, you would expect to have certainly one solid 1.5 hours interview, technical interview, followed by generally any HR interviews which are there. That will be tested your personality as such. So that is the process by which you can apply. As far as the salaries are concerned, the Maharatnas will give you minimum I'm talking about is a 10 lakhs per annum salary. Apart from this, you also have the perks involved. Perks may be something like you get a housing, which means that you get a housing free of cost, which means the HRA, which is housing rent allowance, is not to be paid. What you get 10 lakhs is something what you actually get in your pocket. I mean, you have the provident fund, then you have the other components like income tax, then other components like your HRA, etc., etc. Then your take home would be different, but that's the actual number you could think about it, and on that, on top of that, you get the perks like this. And then you have the other benefits like medical and etc., etc. All these people offer. And places like ONGC could offer you salaries like 13-14 lakhs. NTPC also offers a salary around around 13 lakhs. IOCL offers a salary of around 10.5 lakhs, which is the last year's number. This year could be again different. BL again offers close to 6-7 lakhs rupees salary. Again, but they have a different perk structure. So you can just simply believe these are the best places where you can work for. If you don't want to go for higher education, if you use this opportunity to score what you have, you could certainly use this as the option to get into any public sector places and contribute there. So salary related information is available on the GATE Academy's website. You can look at the various PSUs, those who were admitting or calling candidates, those who are qualified GATE, their cutoffs and their salary structure has been put up on the web. You can look at that as a standard reference point and think about using that as a reference point. Okay. So with that, I hope I have just briefed you about the public sector. Next one is I have a question which is rank of 1097 and the GATE score of 656, marks of 50.26. Which colleges should be best for me? Okay, so the question congratulations to you. You have a very good marks. Certainly for MTech in CS, you should apply to places like IITs. IIT Bangalore is a very good place. IIT Hyderabad is again fantastic place. IIT Hyderabad, IIT Delhi, IIT Hyderabad, you can certainly apply, and there's a good chance. I'm insisting you to go to IITs because of the fact that they have a better placements than these newer IITs. So IITs, Hyderabad, Delhi and Bangalore in general has a far better placement records than the newer IITs. Okay, so you should apply to IITs. You stand a very good chance there to get in. Again, I'm assuming that you come from an open category. Next question is that somebody has a 546 score, marks of 41.17, rank is 2857. Can I get into decent NIT? Of course, you can get into decent NIT. All NITs are decent. By the way, there are no NITs which are not decent. If your question is with respect to the placements, I must tell you that placement is far better in NIT Trichy, Warangal, and Surathkal, Calicut. These are places where the placement scenario is better. Of course, there are some in the north which has also a better placement scenario. Given the proximity of Bangalore being closer to these NITs, so there is a good placement scenario in these places. So you certainly has a chance to get into NITs. I hope I have answered your question. So I have another question which says that a 580 in score, and so the one who has got a 580 score should look at NITs, And the public universities like Shiv Nara University. There's one more in Hyderabad which is coming up by Mahindra, which I forgot to mention. It has a collaboration with the Paris University, which is a very decent university which is being set up by the Mahindra Educational Trust. Has a fantastic set of people. Those who are coming and joining as a faculty there. The only question remains is that how better the situation for as far as the placement is going to be concerned. So, but if you are getting a quality education, I don't think you would have a problem in going to such places. So, question which if you have around 580, you can apply private colleges or public private colleges. All these places are decent, or you can say semi-decent if you don't want to be really grading them very high. So, okay, so can you please elaborate on the MS by Research in IIT Madras? Okay, so MS by Research is the following. So MS by Research has the following process. You have to come for the test in the IIT Madras. Followed by the test, you will have the interview, and once the interviews are done, your admission will be confirmed in next 15 days. Okay. So program is, see, MS students in computer science department have never been treated differently or indifferently rather as compared to what the MTech students are. So you must remember the fact that the MS is highly sought program in IIT Madras for a very simple reason, because they do a fantastic piece of research work, because there are very good faculty, those who have been there in IIT Madras, because I come from IIT Madras and I know most of the faculties there. And all of them have been doing fantastic work, especially in the data analytics and machine learning. There is a huge group which is being coming up now, and that is the hot cake in the market right now. If you graduate in next 2 years, and data analytics field is certainly going to be there for the next 5 years, so you will be icing on the cake for sure. So what you need to do is that MS by Research will have the two components. One is the coursework which you conduct, which means you will have to do 5 number of subjects in 1 year's time. And then you would conduct your research, which has to finally result as a publication. And publication meaning that in a good place, not like somewhere in general national level conference or national level journal. Generally all these IITs aim at top-notch places like IEEE or ACM. So you will have to come up with nice ideas. Ideas are generally given by the faculties because you don't know how to conduct research. So most of the cases you get problems defined for you to conduct research, and you get a guidance from them to continue your research. So I hope that is sufficient for just in right now. So if you have any particular questions, you can look up the web. There will be a sample question paper available through which you could prepare yourself for MS test. Interview is in general, depends on area of interest, which area you are interested in. Okay, so follow that on the web. So the next question I have is that okay, so score is, somebody has said that I would like to know whether I am eligible to enter a private college in Coimbatore for my score. I am sorry, I don't have the score what you have. But Coimbatore, there is a place called PSU if you are in particular about Coimbatore, and there is Amritanand, some college where there's a saint lady who runs a college close to Coimbatore. These are good places. Depending on your score, you can try looking at these places, and certainly PSG ranks very good in Tamil Nadu. My personal opinion about the PhD Tech is it has a far better infrastructure than the College of Engineering in Andhra University, and even MIT for that matter. So certainly you can apply if you have a semi-decent score or applying there. So gate score is 481. Which PSUs can I apply? I must insist again that I have given the table for reference. Depending on your category, you can certainly convert your score into number of marks you have got, and you can certainly look at your possibility of getting into one of these spaces. Next question is that rank is 12,313, gate score is 360. 3. Physically disabled candidate. If you are, if you belong to any other category other than physically disabled, then something like private universities you can apply, but certainly not in any of the lists which I have in the starting from IITs or until the NITs. Next question is that score is 481. Which PSU can I apply? Again, the question for all those people, those who are asking me, I can't make certainly some assumptions because the PSUs have the quota for general category, BC category, SC category, and ST category. So I must know that your category status, then only in particular we can address. But what I have given on the board is a clear-cut number of marks required to at least get called in for the interviews. So based on that, you can make assumption that if you have certainly number of marks in that range, do not hesitate and apply. You never know, there is a good chance because the number of students getting called for, suppose there are 10 number of positions available for any particular category, there will be at least 50 students being called for a 10 interviews. Because out of 50, there will be at least 1:5 ratio. This is how the recruitment goes on. The recruitment is never for only 10 vacant positions and I will call only 10. That doesn't happen. Let me be very specific about the recruitment. Okay. So do not hesitate. These are the number of marks. So these may come down even because the number of IITs have increased, the good colleges have increased, the placement scenario has changed. So there is a good chance these numbers might even get decreased. So do not hesitate to apply if you are in somewhere in the ranges of these numbers. That is in general advice for all of you. It is not with respect to any particular question. Okay, so make sure that you have these numbers clearly noted. I have another question which says that the rank is 902 and in general category gate score is 675. Which colleges should be best for me? And fantastic. So you have 902 rank, which is a very good rank. You can certainly apply to triple ITs, okay, and IT BHU, okay, BITS Pilani, that's a good college, okay, and Dhirubhai College of Engineering Ahmedabad, DAIS. If you assuming that you come from somewhere in the range, if you are from eastern part of the country, you can look at Jadavpur University. Now recently, ISM Dhanbad has been converted into IIT, so you can also apply to that place. But given that you have a 902 and scores of 675, I am sure that you have a very good chance of getting into Triple IT and IIT Hyderabad, IIT Mandi, IIT Rajasthan and Gandhinagar. Sure chance if you are in that range. Okay, so another student has a gate score of 709 AR 610. How good a chance to IIC? MS in IIC. 610 AR, you have a chance of getting called in for the interview, but not for the admission because there is an interview and then your admission will be decided. That is for sure. MS, you will again get called in IIT Madras for sure. 3-year IIT B MTech is certainly out of question here because IIT B's score is really high if you are general category student. I have mentioned that 800 plus for general category MTech student, but 775 is something what you need to go for 3-year course in IIT Bombay. If somebody gets into IIT Bombay, doesn't really want to leave IIT Bombay. So that is always there. But the question with respect to your ISC and MS in IIT Madras, you surely have a chance to get called in for the test. Do apply. It's the best place to do your research. Okay, and CS, and I must tell you that all of you, if you get into any of the IITs, IIT, triple ITs, don't worry about the placement because placements, all CS Janta will get placed in just 2 days. Worst case, it's 3rd day. That's the worst case scenario you can expect. So, if you're sure that you have the first A category IITs, triple ITs, NITs, BITS Pilani, Dhirubhai Mani College of Engineering, Jadavpur University, Anna University, COEP Pune, VJTI, all these places, 3 days, if the worst case, you would have the chance of getting through. So don't worry, don't hesitate, just go ahead and apply to these places. Okay. General category 386 score, can I get into private? Mm, uh, I feel sorry for you, but it's really hard for 386 score into private college. Uh, because the kind of colleges, if I have to talk about, yes, certainly there are other colleges where you could get admissions, but you may not be able to get the HTRA, which is now the scholarship, which is significantly increased, like 14,500 rupees around you will get, uh, which all the private colleges may not be able to actually offer you that kind of things. So, uh, not in the colleges which I at least mentioned, you do not have chance. I'm sorry to say that, but I have to be very, very honest with you. Okay. So, next is that gate score is 865. Can I expect from IIT Bombay in the first list itself? 865. Congratulations, you have a definite chance of getting into first list. But the direct admissions depends. What's the how many number of guys are ahead of you? Because IIT Bombay has the intake admissions closely 10 students in general category for direct admissions. Certainly you have a chance. The probability I can say is 60-40 or 65-35, 0.65 and 0.35. Okay, so if I go with that, certainly you have a definite chance of IIT Bombay. But do apply to IIT Madras, IIT Kanpur, IIT Delhi for direct admissions as well. Yes, there's a good chance you stand in any one of these places, either. Okay. Next one is marks are 26.09 and the score is 363. Score 363, and regarding the colleges, what can I select in NITs and triple ITs? Certainly you can think about some NITs, but if you are open category students, please don't think. That's it. The next one is that general category student with 370 score, how can I use this score as a best? Does any company, MNC, private, semi-government accept this score? Or internships or job? Okay, it's a very good question which is being asked here. Okay, so 370 general category student. See, look, first of all, you have honed your technical skills. Okay, qualifying gate, it means that you have some technical ability, and the technical ability is measured on the score what you receive. So 370 is a decent score, at least in terms of the basic requisite technical skill by any industry standards. I come from an industry, not only just that I'm coming here and giving. So I know the industry what it looks at. Your fundamental levels should be clear, and that 370 does signify that you know you have the basic aptitude, technical aptitude, and you can use the score for getting internships at least for sure if you have a particular question about the internship. Some of these companies do tell you that, okay, if you are qualified, the technical ability or technical interview, when you will get tested, you will certainly have an edge over the people, those who come as a normal process of, just fresh out of the college and then not done enough training or technical training, then might struggle. But as far as the internships are concerned and the jobs are concerned, this score is useful. But if you couple, I must add one point, if you couple with your programming skills, because all CS students do need to have the programming skills, any programming language for that matter is essentially required to couple with your score, then you have a very good chance of getting a good internship or a job. This is how you can utilize this. Score is fine. This is telling me that you have a technical ability, but not only technical ability, if you couple with your programming skills, it is a right mixture what the industry requires. So that should be best way to deal with. Okay. Next question is that can you give the list of best specialization according to respective old IITs? Okay. So well, the best specialization is always MTechs in CSE, and CSE doesn't run courses like traditionally what the EC or E department actually runs. So CSE MTech, which is in general, but they have following. So you might actually do your major in one of these, not in particular this. Networks, algorithms, these days machine learning or analytics, databases, security, and last one is the digital or computer architecture. So this might even involve some OS, not to be very specific. You can think about, these are very specializations. But CS in MTech will not be offered like CS in MTech in computer networks. That doesn't happen. Or CS in algorithms, MTech in algorithms will not be offered. So, see, it just goes with the following. The more wider areas of the faculty have, the institution you're talking about, then the more number of students can be accommodated in that place. So there we have a particular students for each of them. So because they can have MTech projects, MTech, more number of faculties and more different areas, and they can have more number of students in each one of these sectors. So sometime what might even happen that the MS students, in particular from IIT Madras, if I have to say, are more in number compared to what MTech students are, because the breadth of the faculties is too large. And I know recently this particular group called Machine Learning and Algorithm Analytics group has something like 30 odd students working in this domain. That's huge. This also involves the data mining part. I'm not only talking about one particular subject, data mining. So, MTech CSE is general, but the breadth decides the number of students they can have. But there is no way that you can have separate degrees for this. But MS does have significant number based on this. If the number of students are, number of breadth is that, then the more number of faculties will offer more MS opportunities and more direct PhD opportunities and even PhD opportunities. So that's with respect to your specialization according to respective old IITs. I'm not talking about any new IITs. This is the standard structure only. You even go to IISc or even go to IITs. This is how the courses are run. Okay. Of course, there's something called special department in IIT Bombay, which is IT. Again, which deals most likely in maths and CS. So somebody has a score of 1000. Study abroad. Okay. NUS, that's the best place which you can aim at. National Institute of Singapore, which takes this as the basic criteria for admitting students. But you have to write IELTS, at least, or maybe TOEFL, because test of English language is important for foreign universities. So do look up on their website. Study abroad is only with respect to NUS. Germany, New Zealand exist, but again, as strong as what NUS or NTU offers in Singapore, no other universities do have that much wider acceptance to the GATE score. They do have the acceptance to the GATE score because your technical abilities are proven by taking an exam like GATE. But certainly you will have to write GRE or TOEFL or IELTS. It varies with respect to countries like Australia or New Zealand or even Germany. So Germany might not require any one of these. Germany doesn't even require your GATE score for that matter. You can directly apply based on your past records of BTech itself, with some standard recommendation letters. I mean, at least good recommendation letters. Marks are 23.28. I'm talking about the next question. Okay, so score is 329. Category is OBC. Of course, I had put up the list of categories which are 329 score, and category is OBC. Certainly apply to NITs. There is good chance that you have. There is a huge list of NITs, and you must apply to one of these places. And try even private colleges, which at least I mentioned here, because finding good student is always a question. So you can always apply to these places. Next question is that what about Gandhi Institute of Technology and Management, Amrita Vishnu Vidyapita? Amrita Vishnu Vidyapita, it is about the Coimbatore. That's AP. I'm sorry, I don't have any idea about both of these, but certainly I have an idea about the Geetam University, but that's in Hyderabad and Vijayawada, I guess, or Visakhapatnam. It's a good place to go and has semi-decent placement records, but it's only with respect to service industry, not in the core technical computer science industry. So very few core computer science industries prefer to go there as in for recruitment. So you can apply to GitHub. No harm in doing that. It is a good place. I know they have good faculties, mostly from PhDs from IITs. They encourage you also to do work. Next question is that score is 352, marks at 25.20, general category, and ranking is 13,238. If I want to apply to any colleges in Bengaluru, what would be a possible college? Okay, so Bangalore, there is Vishwasaraya Institute of Technology, but that's again has a very high reputation. Then there is a PES, not PSG, the PES, but that's a private college, I guess, and it's a good college, no doubt about that. Then you have the one on the old BL road, new BL road, I forgot the name, some college on the old, just behind the IIC. You can apply that. I forgot the name of that college. It's a good place, Ramaiah College of Institution, I think. So you can apply these two places, surely. You can take a chance, no harm in taking chances. Rank is 1097, score is 656, marks are, that's I think I have already talked about this question. Gate score is 355 and general category is yes. What options can I get? Options are, obviously you can look at the private engineering colleges. Again, the top places you should look at. I have another question. Score is 675 and rank is 902 and you're from Tambaram, very close to IIT Madras. What chances I have in IIT and Tech? And I also wish to do MS by research. Okay, so look, you can apply for MS by research and there is a good chance that you will get a call for test. If you clear test, there's certainly then you have the chance for getting called through the interview. But MTech, no, I doubt. If you're an open category students and MTech for 675, you certainly don't have a chance because you have to have 800 plus. There's no doubt. 675, I'm calling because there's not a lot of number of students basically apply for MS. Generally 1,000 plus students come for writing test and the test process goes for 2 days. That's what it is. So no harm in applying to 675, but you can try IIT's MTech. Because you have a decent score, 675, and IITs are best places, Bangalore in particular, in Delhi, good places to go. Next question is about 393 score and a general category student. Is there a chance of admission in deemed universities in the state universities? What are the chances of admission in universities abroad? What will be the cutoff for MS in various institutions? See, if you're looking at the deemed universities don't really look at all of this. And score of 393 in general category, it depends on which deemed university are you looking at. Say, for example, if you're looking at a deemed university in Chennai, and places like Satyabhama University in Chennai, which can give you admission with this. I'm certainly sure about this. But going to deemed university is not the right choice because very few deemed universities has a better places. Like you go to SRM, SS in Chennai, SRM even have the campus in Delhi nowadays. Of course, these places are good, but placement wise, again they lack badly. So deemed university should not be thought unless and until you are desperate to get into MTechs. Master's courses, deemed universities are not better places. BTech could be. Unless places like VIT. It has its own reputation because they have built the whole thing. And they have a reputation because they don't really want to compromise on the quality. So a lot depends on the management which the college actually runs. They make a strategic decisions to compromise on the quality or not. So think about deemed universities like VIT, certainly the best places to go. Deemed university of like Ajim Premji is going to start something in Bangalore, or he has started, but how far the admission process and other things are going on, I'm just sorry, I don't have the information. But Shiv Nadar University, I have known people there, and best place. It is the best place to go again. Okay, so certainly don't hesitate, but make a good choice of good deemed university. Just don't make a deemed university as a choice. That's it. Okay. Sorry, I just going through a lot of questions I have on my laptop panel here, and I certainly have to look at the. Okay. So next question is that rank is 7,400 and score is 430. Category is OBC. Is there a chance of getting into NITs? See, you have a score which actually suggests that you stand a chance to get into NITs, even private colleges, because you belong to OBC category. Certainly apply to NITs and also apply to private engineering colleges, which I mentioned. Next question I have is that score of around 578 general category student. Is there a chance that IIT Bangalore? Okay. I am not quite sure about Bangalore because Bangalore is ranked very, very high because it has a very good placement record. Labs like Xerox Labs, there's a company called Xerox Research, and they go and hire students from there. Not only Amazon goes there and hire students from there, Flipkart goes there and Amazon hire students. So 578 with general category is little bit suspicious because the number of students this year have gone up compared to last year, right? So yes, and the number of students those who have qualified also have gone up. You can take chance, but apply to any other places as well, like IIT Hyderabad. In fact, IIT Delhi, IIT Pune also is there, which is good. It certainly has a good placement records. Another question is that I have 820 score in open category. Should I choose ISC or IITB or a PSU job? 820 score. Certainly you have a good chance of getting into IITs. See, PSU jobs is that choosing between the private sector jobs and the public sector job is the following. I mean, if it goes with my individual perception, it could be different from your case. See, if I want to be lazy in my life, I would choose PSU job. Certainly, I don't want to make it generalized, but this is something what I feel. Because I will hardly get a chance to contribute anything. Because set of things actually are written. And then you have to basically go and execute there without much of applying your brain in PSU jobs. They offer you best salary, you have increment in salary, we have a very safe future. There are positives, these are the positives. And certainly these positives do matter to many of people. If they don't matter to me, of course, that could matter to you. So if you want to make a decision whether to go to IIT or ISC or choose PSU, certainly you should think about this as an option. What you would like to do. Private careers offer you the vibrant careers. That is like you'll be 24/7 on your toes to basically be competitive. But that doesn't really happen in the public sector. If you are competitive, you like to actually be competitive whole lifetime. A better place is the private industry, and it offers you a plethora of options as compared to what the PSUs can offer. Once you get into PSU, after lifetime you will get older there, and then you will get retired. But that doesn't really happen in the private sector, public sector. Public sector and private sector is completely a different ballgame. So it's my choice that I would love to be in private sector and then contribute and always be competitive, learn something always from the younger generations, and contribute to myself or contribute to the place where I actually work. So choice is something which you have to make based on what kind of person you are. I hope that answers your question. So which question I have? So I have a question called 500 score and general category student eligible for, of course you are eligible for applying to IIS, IIT Madras, but getting called for the test is something which is a question. So question that certainly is out of box here. You don't really, if you are from open category, And the question like 500 score, no, you don't have a chance to get even called for test. 675, 700 plus is something what you could think about it. Okay, that's minimum. 675 is something what I think is minimum, because you get 1,500 students getting called for test. So certainly 500 is far below compared to that. So think about it. Marks of around 38. Can I apply to Navratna PSUs? If you are from a general category, I'm sure that 38 doesn't really qualify for the Navratnas. But above 45 could definitely give you a chance. But apply to third grade, which I have said. Don't mean by third grade. Don't go with the words actually meaning of that. Third meaning there are categories, and the third category which I mean by that. So I have a rank of 38 and the category, general category. Can I apply for the Navratna PSUs? I think I have just answered that question. And another question, which universities should I apply in New Zealand? Or which universities in New Zealand accept the GATE score? Very sorry, Pranav Joshi, that it's hard for me to answer this question. I really don't know. It's clearly lack of knowledge. Sorry for that. I must say sorry for that. So, what rank can I require for IIT? So, rank is not something a certainly question. The question is how much score you have. If your rank is first and there are 60 first rank holder and your BTech score is lower than somebody else, those 60 will get through, not you. Okay. So, score, if I have to look at it, of course your score has to be top, and then 800 plus gives you a highest chance. So, when I'm looking at even the probabilistic score, you have 800 plus, fantastic. You can be rest assured to get into NITs. That I must tell you. So I think I've almost answered everybody's question, except I can take a last question I have. 641 score, rank is 1256. Do I have a chance to IIT Bangalore? Of course you have a chance to IIT Bangalore. Do apply. 641 is a decent score. 650 is something which I have a cutoff on my mind with the previous thoughts are concerned. But 641 is slightly low. Take a chance. Good to go for it. Who knows that you might even get called. Alright. So with that, I must wish all of you people good luck. And hope I could answer some of the questions, not all of them, because the questions are rolling on my screen, and then some of the questions I might have missed out. So sorry about that. But in general, I have given whatever information, at least I have given my experiences concerned, like last 7 or 8 years of experience, and then this is what I have. Thank you very much.